There's not many bigger names in the UK estate agency industry than Simon Whale. Simon used to be pretty bigwig at REAPIT. What the hell are you doing now? Talk to me.
Thank you. So I used to be someone, but not anymore, as the footy chant goes.
Well, there's not many ex prop tech CRM directors who are still being talked about a few months after they left. You are a larger than life person.
I think the problem there is, have I left? I mean, most people have been saying, "Oh, what are you doing now these days?" And I said, "I've been doing absolutely everything. I continue. I'm still out there meeting the same people, lunches, dinners. At the end of the month, though, I don't get paid. That's been the same thing. No, you don't have to feel sorry for me.
I've heard that people are actually taking you out for lunch now because
it's absolutely amazing.
It's like a soup kitchen.
They do feel like they're down on the luck. Peter Knight was out with me the other day, and I said, I haven't had to pay for a single lunch because people are feeling sorry, and he said, I wish I'd known that because I wouldn't have paid for this one. But
well, don't you worry, at the end of this interview I'll take you to Marks and Spencer's and buy you a sandwich.
Thank you, that's good. And I get one to take home as well.
No. So come on then, what are you doing post REAPIT?
So post REAPIT, so look, I mean, it is clearly I am having a bit of a time. I think it's fair to say I have worked like a lunatic, or if you can call it work, for the last few years. So I want to spend some time out while I actually figure out what the next big step is. Okay. In the meantime, though, what I do want to do is I really want to spread what little knowledge I've got and experience, and indeed contacts with some of the companies that are out there. I think if you read the release, it did say what we were about. I'm going to continue working with REAPIT. We're all left on very good terms, helping identify opportunities for them and some of the business.
Because don't get me wrong, it's a pretty damn good product.
Oh, it's the best in the market. There's no doubt at all. I mean, apart from a few niches out there, RPS from REAPIT, and I'm saying this worldwide, globally, it absolutely nails it. I always spoke about going over to NAR in the States, the biggest one over there, and I used to...
Sorry, tell the people at home what that is.
So NAR is the largest American conference over there, and as usual, as the Americans do it, they do it bigger and better than anyone else.
So it's a bit like the Negotiator Best Agent Award and all of them roll into one.
Absolutely right, yes. Yeah, whether it's the Esters or ARIC in Australia. But to put it into context here, you might get 1,500 at the Esters and the old Sunday Times, or Ian Masters as it is, 4,000 to 5,000 at ARIC. There's like 30,000 people at NAR. So the Americans do it big over there. And I remember when we first went over there, God, what are we going to find? They're going to be 2 to 3 years ahead, and we're going to have to run back over here. And it was really interesting when we got there, actually, that they were years behind us. And it
really?
Wasn't. It was literally in some areas they were still massive. Social
what are we talking
media,
here? CRM,
or
not a state agency, but just
CRM. The very narrow area that I was interested in there, and the demographic was because of the more individualistic nature of realtors over there. So they were using
realtors means estate agents.
Yeah. Exactly right. So they were using generics tools, and most of the time, to be fair, they were using their version of generic tools, a bit like Brief Your Market or Active Pipe that's over here. But they just happily use whatever was out there because it was about it was literally about just using a CRM tool for them as an individual, in the way that a dentist might use. Sort of to keep these long-term clients, because that's how they saw them.
Okay.
So yeah, I was. I've looked around all over the place. The people who do it best and for the longest is definitely me, and that's still the case.
Okay, moving forward, what are you going to be doing now? Are you going to be setting up your own CRM system, your own CRM company, or doing something a bit different?
I mean, first of all, there's restrictions all over the place, so I'll probably get a quick letter even after this if I did. But I don't have any interest in that, certainly for the time being. And for me, I think it is a really interesting time. I mean, the explosion of innovation and everything out there is genuinely exciting. But it's also its own curse as well. It's its own problem. There is too much out there for most agents to have the time, inclination.
Are we talking prop tech here?
We're talking prop tech. No, actually, just widen it. It's just technology in general, isn't it? It's technology in general. I don't know where my phone's just gone, but the analogy I'm using all the moment is prop tech at the moment is like the 1,000,001 apps that you have on your phone. You've installed them at a whim. You know, you probably never need to go into them again, do you? No. The ones you use on your homepage, same with Google, you're in there religiously and doing it. The problem where that analogy breaks down is that all of those apps or prop techs that you've put on there, they're costing you money. And especially as well, if you don't get them working right together, and I think that for me is the next thing, is for me working with my agency clients, those ones that I will be looking to help them get the most out of it, is I fundamentally see that there are probably, there are some fundamental building blocks of any great agency. And I think if there's one thing I've picked up over the last 20 years, it's been lucky enough to work with these great agencies around the world and to find the foundation of what they use well in PropTech is where I'm at.
And that's what you're going to be doing, is it? Yeah. Basically advising agents on what PropTech to use and what not to use.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is the critical thing. It's not enough, and let's put that into context. So, yeah, get your portals right. Obviously, that's a given these days. Your website, critically, that's always been, this is the really interesting thing. Website has always traditionally been quite separate from it has to be absolutely working in tandem. So people like, I don't know, Starbury and Homeflow, who have the tightest two-way integration, those are the ones that are going to start setting you up there. People like, obviously, yes, CRM needs to be it. So yeah, obviously in my world there's a REAPIT, but of course there's the Resis, the PSGs, and the MRIs that are still out there, obviously working it. And the amorphous Salesforce still keeps trying to break into real estate. Then you've got EDM providers, as we've spoken about, the ones who do your digital marketing, the ones who do your...
Some people might not know EDM means.
Electronic direct mail. So yeah,
Brief Your Market, Active Pipe, that sort of thing.
They're the new boys, aren't they? Active Pipe.
A lot of people talking about them.
Yeah. And look, they're both fantastic companies. But if you can see where I'm going with this already, we're just talking about the key building blocks. And what's absolutely critical though is that whereas you've looked at these in isolation, the best agents are figuring out how do they get these working with each other. You're never going to have one system to rule them all, as it were. How you get them firing together and integrating is key.
Maybe we could talk about that in the next video.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All happy. Thank you.